complain to the right person, and then I can say, okay, I'll hold your hand. Let's check your energy bills. Let's check this. What are you doing this? You know, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's very spot on. And I think you are fully ready for us, ma. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you've mentioned something that is very, very key. And that was the point that the proportion to which this income is increasing does not commensurate with the ratio at which the cost of living is increasing drastically in the United Kingdom. And a lot of us, we are not really paying attention to that, and it's really draining our cost. Sometimes when you go to Aldi or Costco with £50, £100, you see what your cart is going to push out. But now with that same amount, it's likely not going to make any significant change. So thank you so much for that. There is a question that comes into the chat session by, and I think that question is addressed to Councillor Akin. The question is saying that, thank you for this session. Is there a service provider for energy you can recommend? So yes, Councillor Akin, would you like to answer that question?
Yes, there is. Can that person DM me though? Because it's going to involve me showing you a presentation.
Okay.
It's not just as easy as you trying to negotiate your way around this.
Okay.
So every person can DM me.
Arrange a presentation.
And then I can arrange a presentation for the person.
So what we will do is, thank you so much, Madam Aderonke Oche. So we will send you a link, or myself, Councillor Akin, and Pastor Mrs. Alabi, we would arrange a way for you to meet with Councillor Akin to get specific information on how you can save your energy cost. And I think that's very important. So our media team, please take note of it. Elizabeth, take note of this so that you can send to Mrs. Aderonke Oche after now.
Then we're going to look at all her utilities as well, because about saving on all your utilities, not just energy.
Okay.
So your broadband, because this cuts across anything that you pay as a bill, we'll look at it holistically, and then we'll get a collective saving. Like I said before, £2,300 off someone's bill was huge for a year. Off his utilities, 1,800, 850, varying amounts that I've come across, and I've done over 200 of these presentations now.
Wow.
So I know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So congratulations, Madam Aderonke. I think you are in the right place. So you would get, I will send you more details about this. Then you can get to know how to solve this problem. So I'm still on with Pastor Mrs. Ma, and I'm sorry that I have so many questions for you, but some of my questions, you are already addressing them, and I'm happy. And some of the questions that is also coming onto the group session, the group chat, is also, I know, is your area of specialization. So I'm handing them over to yourself and Councillor Akin to ensure that our participants today save cost and they are better off than yesterday. Now, the next question that I have is, how can people better planning and behavior, how can people better their planning behavior and deliver more savings than relying on government support? I want to say it in another form. A lot of households are now relying much on government support, and I think good enough we have someone from the public sector with us. And this is one of the reasons why even this issue of visa issue and saying extending the ILR period from 5 years to 10 years for those that are in skilled workers route, which on the norms, these people are contributing to the economy. Yeah. Today's session is actually not on immigration, but maybe sometimes we'll talk on that. But the reason why I'm bringing this on board is the government position of the UK government is the fact that they are trying to reduce over-reliance on what do we call these benefits. Yeah. So now the question that I'm now throwing to her is, how can people plan better such that they will not be relying more on government support alone? How can they, because the reason why people rely on the government support is to meet some costs. Yeah. Maybe I can't pay my energy bill, I can't pay my salary is not enough. So are there better ways? Because I know you are a cost-cutting expert, and you could be able to explain to us from another perspective. Or maybe you are wearing 2 caps or even 3 caps now. Or maybe there are charity organizations that people can even run to instead of going to sign up for these benefits that is now putting too much pressure on the government, and then is now even making them to affect those that they are not supposed to even affect in the ordinarily. So what's your thought around this question? I think the question is a bit complicated.
It's broad, but I would answer it to the best of my knowledge, So government support tends to be temporal. You understand? The government cannot continuously be supporting you forever and ever. So they will give you a specific time. It could be, say, DHP will be 13 weeks. Another benefit will be like 26 weeks. Do you understand? Just for a little time to get yourself, into bed. So you have to actually have a behavioral change to actually say, okay, what am I going to do individually? What am I going to do as well? So, and what am I going to be able to control within my, within my means, within my territory? So, say for instance, your energy, right? You need to monitor it. And they're just little things, draining the hydrator. There is a key that you can use to drain the hydrator, especially radiator, especially when they start another season. So you drain it, it brings some water out. There is a key. That key, every household should have it. I think they said it's in £1 shop or £2 shop. I don't know.
Oh, just £1. I'm just hearing this.
The radiator key.
There's a radiator key.
So it lets just like Pastor
it lets the air out.
It lets the air out of the system, and it makes your heating system more efficient.
Wow.
So the water circulates faster. The hot water circulates faster around the heating system.
Yeah. So immediately we begin winter.
A bit of air trapped in it. You're in trouble.
They sell it maybe B&Q, all those places. Just ask for radiator key. It works with every radiator. Right. Wow. That's one. Adjust routine. Switch off the lights. Switch off standby. I know I'm a victim of that. Switch off your laptop. Those things, they're little things, but they do matter. Understand why you are wasting energy. Even washing clothes. Why are you washing your clothes during the day?
Wash it at night.
Wash it at night. At 30% energy something. Set your washing machine and your dishwasher.
When you wash your clothes at night, you save 30% of your cost. Wow. Washing your clothes at night. Then my house, I pack it and everything. I differentiate it. When it's like around 8 o'clock, I put it in. I wash at night. Wow. Once you get to be washing clothes during the day. The rate of that energy, So I still should be able to understand their household energy pattern, set realistic budgets. Do you understand? Water, heater. If there's a room, there is nobody sleeping in the room, you don't need it. You can switch off the heater in that room as and when it's needed. Recently, I was speaking to one of my friends. She does food bag. And I said, look, I need to come and start doing this food bag thing. She's registered me. I'll be calling on you. I know some people here, if you can drive, because she said I will have to be taking it 3 days a week. There is nothing I'm going to use the food in the food bank. But I know that if I bring it to the community, people will take something. Because if not, they're going to throw those food away. And this is where sacrifices comes in. I need to be able to call on you and say, please, can you help me go to Asda and collect this food? Give them this code number. They will give you some things in your car. Because we are here to help each other.
Instead of waiting for support scheme, plan. I'm always an advocate for step up, retrain, do something else. I'm an agile delivery manager. I work. Do you understand? But I saw this as an opportunity, which was a second stream of income. Councillor Loco introduced me. And I said, okay, let's take it up. And I take it up. And you know what? I've been to people, explained it to them, and they're still resistant, even though I can show that they're going to get some, I mean, when I did yours, Pastor Tope, you know how much you saved in a month?
Yeah.
So those are the things that, can help us all. If I have an issue in the house, please, in our community, we can still be able to help. But if we don't talk out, that's not going to be possible. So instead of waiting for support, proactive planning, things that you can do, source, the government job, gov.uk, there's information there, there's resources there. Now, if it's accommodation that you need, the council is there. But you know what? The council doesn't have property now. So they're not going to even look at you unless you have a very, very big case. So those are good things I'm going to talk about. It's very broad and it's very reactive, but I mean, that's the little I'm going to be able to talk about because I know you have a lot of
questions. This is not little. This is so much. Thank you so much. I trust you for that. You are not an energy consultant by mouth. So this shows that you know what you're doing. I've been in the UK for long, since 2019, and I'm just hearing for the first time that you need to drain the air in your radiator. So I'm not aware. So I think this is a very good information to me. So I will need to go and spend that £1 to save as much pounds as I can. Yeah. And as regards,
all you need to do is just once a year.
Oh, once a year.
That's not a big deal. You go around to all the radiators in your house, and you just I'll show
take
you.
a towel because it will leak out water.
Where it is. It's a small screw. You use that radiator key to loosen it a bit. Don't loosen it too fast because water will come gushing out. And then you just hear a hiss. If there's air in your system, especially in that part of the radiator system, you just hear a hiss. Let the hiss come out, and then a little bit of water starts coming out. That shows the water has come through. Then you lock it back. Wow. And it will make your heating. You'll notice a difference straight away. It will make your heating system more efficient.
Wow. And then when I heard of EV, while I'm doing the final presentation of the full budget, we'll talk on EV as well. So I was informed that when you have an electric vehicle, that you should charge at night.
Yeah.
But I never knew that washing at night too could save you costs.
Oh yeah.
Up to 30%. So that means if you are paying a pound to wash during the day, you will just pay 70p to wash at night.
So because your rate is different. Yeah.
And then sometimes we put our washing machine on for one hour. Even if you put it at quick wash and you have to dry it, it still takes up to 1 hour.
Current electricity rate per kilowatt hour is on average is about, I think it's about 28, 29p during the day. At night, if you have an EV, and that's actually verified through the DVLA database, so they don't just give you the EV rate. I think it's about 6p, 7p. So you can see the sharp drop.
Wow.
So that's when a lot of people, smart people, do a lot of stuff. They wash their clothes at that time. So from 12 to, there's some companies that offer it from 12 to 7, some offer it from 12 to 5 a.m. So between that 12 to 7 a.m., a lot of people just piling what they want to do at 7p. Per kilowatt.
Which is spot on. I think a lot of us in this call will be happy to hear this. While you were presenting, Ma, someone asked a question and the question goes thus. He said, please, Ma, how about the weekend washing? So is there savings for weekend washing as well? Or is it just the same rate if you wash during the day in the weekends? So are there any difference?
I cannot categorically say about the weekend. I know about the day and the nights.
The night, okay. So Madam Esther Dosu, for now, we don't have what to say about the rate for weekend washing, but I think you can still leverage on weekend of nights to do your washing. So if you are always available during the weekend, perhaps, if that's what your question is.
And if I can come in, it depends on the tariff of the company you're with.
Okay.
So if some companies, for instance, would encourage on a Sunday, they'll say they're giving you 2 hours of free electricity.
Okay.
On a Sunday. The kind of company I would recommend is the one obviously that I do presentations for, and they would actually, it gets to a stage where you get 1 month's free energy.
Wow.
So if you imagine my own case and Pastor Ayo's case, we've had some months of free energy.
Wow.
I've had 5 months, 5 whole months
of free energy.
This year. And I only joined this
just gas or both gas and
electricity?
Gas and electricity.
Wow. 5 months of free energy.
Wow.
So I'm not going to pay, I don't think I'm going to pay anything over this winter.
Wow.
For the first time in my life of living in the
some
UK.
of us pay as much as £200.
Yeah, but I'm looking at someone that's not paying anything for his energy. So I put on my heating and I put on my electricity. But that's another layer to what I would advise people to get onto. And this is where that's why I said the lady that wanted to know about it earlier on. That's why I said I needed to do a 20-minute presentation, just 20 minutes, and that 20 minutes will change her life.
And energy is energy, gas is gas, electricity is electricity. It doesn't
exactly.
it's not branded, it's not that the gas you're going to use in this house is going to be different from the gas you're going to use in that house. So why do you have to pay?
It's not like Nigeria.
That Pastor, you are so bothered because I forgot. That's the other stereotype our community members have. Oh, I'm with British gas. Okay, why? And like I said earlier on, they won't tell you why. Then you now realize it's because they think, and some of them would ask me, where is this company getting their gas from? I'm like, they all go to the same source to buy gas. And the energy, people need to understand how the dynamics of the energy market works in the UK. There is no one that owns gas. British Gas just call themselves gas because back in the days,
they were the only one.
30 years ago, they were the only company supplying energy in the UK, and they were just called British Gas. Because when Margaret Thatcher privatized it and deregulated the market, British Gas and all these other companies were made to compete with each other. And that's what she tried to achieve. Which, looking back, okay, we all protested that they privatized because it was cheap then. Energy was cheap. You could power your house for £100 a month. Now that it's been privatized, we're paying close to 3,000 because shareholders are getting money. People don't realize how much the energy market has moved in the UK. Because of privatization, it's made a lot of people rich. Now, on the continent or in Europe, a lot of the European countries haven't privatized. So energy is a lot cheaper in Europe, household energy. But household energy costs in the UK have risen on the back of privatization. But let's even fast forward now. That's the history behind British Gas. It's not because British Gas is manufacturing its own gas. They're just called British Gas because they do electricity as well. So when you ask them, they think, well, I always tell them they go to the same wholesale market to buy their gas. And everyone buys it 2 years in advance. So the tariffs they all put you on, and they're all like middlemen because British Gas, Ovo Energy, Octopus, all of them, they're middlemen in between the wholesale market and you, the retail end. So everybody goes to the same place. Then for electricity, they all go to the national grid. There's no voltage of electricity that they've written British Gas on or written Ovo Energy on. They all go to the same source, the national grid, to buy electricity. But they will now pass it down to you at a retail price on the tariff. That's how it works. So people should free up their minds and say, my overall loyalty to British Gas is not needed. You should be changing tariffs. You should be changing suppliers.
Okay. For some that are asking for the provider is
we'll need to do a presentation with you.
It's not so much, you see, because why don't they get in touch with me to start with?
Okay.
And then I'll walk them through. They should just give you their details to you.
Okay.
And we'll walk through all that. Brilliant. You see, because it removes all this, who's the provider, because you wouldn't understand this presentation. It has layers
to know the cost that you
exactly the cost, and you wouldn't know that cost unless I do this presentation or Pastor Ayo does this presentation for you. Okay. There's a lot of knowledge involved in this. Okay. And then you can't get to the stage where you have free energy if I don't show you how to do it.
Brilliant. Okay, so for take notes, media team behind, that's Madam Esther Dosu. We also want to know more about it. So it can there be a group presentation for them or
individual? Because because of GDPR, we don't want people's details to be because it's going to be personalized. It's going to be based on your own circumstance.
Oh, so that it's just
individually tailored.
Yes. Like because I remember if I'm spending like £300 in a month and I needed to review and it's showing
exactly
150.
And we don't want to show everybody what you are spending and so
okay, so that's very good. Thank you so much for that. I think this will be the last question to Pastor Mrs. Ayo. I've actually drained her, but I know she's ready for me. It's unfortunate that we couldn't have it in person because I had to change our plan in the process. And thanks for the understanding, ma. So I just felt we should not stress you more. Then COVID has made us understand that things can be done virtually.
Yes.
But Councillor Akin is just a stone throw away from us here. So that's why he's able to still make it in person. So thank you so much. The last question is, what financial recommendation? I think you've said this already, and I think it will be a tautology for me to ask again, but I would ask if I thought there is another thing you wanted to say. And it's like, what financial recommendation do you have for UK household on a saving energy cost and cutting overall living costs? Which I think you have said this, and it's just for me to say thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to B&Q to buy that key or the radiator key to always discharge my energy, the air in my gas. So thank you so much once again for your time.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
So
and it goes with everything. Your clothing, when do you buy your jackets?
Okay.
Your jacket should be, you shouldn't be looking for jackets now. Because it's already cold.
It's already winter.
You buy jackets summer period.
Yeah.
When of sales, that's when you buy your stuff. So a lot of things that you can actually, January of every year all over the world, there's sales. By the time it's 25th of January, there's end of the year sales.
25th of January.
25th of January, all over the world, aside for Africa countries, all over the world, whether it's France, whatever, there's always a sales in January.
They get rid of winter stock.
Because everything in winter, they're laying in stock. So you can buy your winter jackets towards that time for you
and keep it for that next winter.
I'll keep it for next winter. Food, Aldi, will always be my best recommendation. Whether it's because of COVID, but the things are good. The waitresses people, thank God for your life. The answer people, thank God for your life. Do you understand? But these are little things that would make a lot of difference.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
little too. Okay. I hope you are taking notes. Is that Madam Dosu that asked that question? Okay, I think I asked the question anyway. So
yeah. So those are the things. Other things that I can remember, I'll probably And
I also remember that there was a day Pastor Femi Alabi was saying that if you get a jacket for £500, there is an equivalent of that jacket at £100 or £50 in Primark and the likes. That sometimes if you are trying to cut costs, we should first look at things that are essential and things that are non-essential.
Yeah.
So a designer jacket is important if you truly want to show luxury, but if it's just to keep you warm, then you can get it from places like Primark, Next.
Sometimes we get carried away with brands. Brands are not. Don't get me wrong, it's good to wear brands.
It's good to wear brands. I love brands.
But sometimes you fixate on that.
I love brands.
Some of these brands, when you really think of it, where they're manufactured is the same source in Asia, the Philippines, China, and all that. So sometimes these retailers or some of these manufacturers will go to the same retailer that manufactures for Ralph Lauren and all that, and they would actually manufacture something similar to the same standard, but it just doesn't have Ralph Lauren's logo on.
Just the logo.
That's the difference. So we shouldn't get swayed by logo things and all that. Once you check the value of
the quality.
That's what I was going to do, the word quality. You check the quality of the garment you're going to buy. You should be able to make a visual judgment. And then you know whether it's good. And
even the brands, they have where they sell them at cheaper prices.
They have outlets, factory outlets.
Outlets. They have
not
outlets.
On the London High Street.
No, you'll be surprised.
Not on the high street. Not on the high street.
All of them have their outlet stores, like she's rightly saying. The factory outlet shops. You need to do Google is my friend. That's what people do.
So if I want to buy something now, I'll go to their outlets and buy it.
Just type in Google. Just type in the factory outlet for this shop. And
factory outlets for this particular
brand.
So, for example, if I like Tommy Hilfiger,
so just
I can
factory outlet
for Tommy.
Outlets.
I remember when we went to France last year. I was in France, and someone just told me that with the same cloth quality of Tommy Hilfiger you get in the market in France, but when you go to another market, then you see a lot of these brands there. When we got there, it was like seeing Louis Vuitton, seeing Tommy, Lacoste.
These are original stuff.
And they are good stuff.
These are original
good stuff. I've forgotten the name of the market.
So a lot of people don't realize you need to, like just like Pastor here suggested, you need to be very shop savvy. You need to save your money. It's hard-earned money. There's no point wasting it. You said, I think the other things our people tend to fixate on is, I bought this. They purposely throw it into conversation because they realize people are not talking about, I bought this bag for 4,000 pounds. Who wants to care? You're the one that's wasted 4,000-5,000.
You can invest part of that in your
trading 212. Or trading 212 portfolio. You'll be meeting that money in future at a higher value. That bag is depreciating. We need to be very smart. I'm not saying don't buy 4,000.
Don't depreciate, Pastor.
But don't be wasteful. Don't be wasteful.
Some bags
what do you say, ma?
I said some bags don't depreciate.
Okay, they don't depreciate. No. But can you sell them in the stock market, ma?
Can you sell them in the stock market?
No, you can't sell them, but you can sell them in premium.
Second-hand market for these designers. Maybe I should ask that.
Sir?
Are there second-hand market for this designer, unlike
gold?
Gold,
there is.
You can resell your gold at higher price. All these designers, can we?
It all depends on what you've bought. Now, I have bags for over 20 years. If I bring them out, I want to sell it. I will not get the actual price I bought it, but this is a bag that I've used for 20 years. But I will still get a reasonable amount of money.
That keys into what I was saying. That it's not as if you can't resell it, but it would be worth as much in terms of.
Unlike maybe if you have bought gold.
But using it for 20 years.
Because a lot of people are putting their money into gold right now, which is a very viable.
But not the type of gold you are buying,
No, I mean gold shares. Shares in gold.
Okay.
Not gold physically, shares in gold.
All right.
I think that question is a very good one. I think that question, which is the physical commodity gold. So if we are buying it, because I remember there was a time my wife wanted to dispose some of our gold, and when she got to the gold store in Luton, they said they don't buy this particular one, that they buy this particular. And I was asking her that how do you know which one is what? And I think that's what she's trying to say now, that we should not buy which karat, ma.
What depends. 80 carats gold, 24 carats gold is not gold. So instead of, if you want to buy gold bars.
Bars,
Oh, the bar.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what people invest in. The people that invest in gold, they invest in companies that buy gold bars. So that would appreciate that. One is to understand how the dynamics of the market.
All those things work. Women, we like gold, so.
Thank you so much. I think this is really, really insightful. And if it's just feeling like we should continue the conversation because it's bringing up more. But like I said, this UK Money Smart is a program that will be coming on once every month. And we'll be having discussion on different things because I know that our resource persons are loaded and I can't take enough of you in 2 hours. But honestly, this is really, really insightful. Thank you so much once again. We would want to still have you on because I know you have a lot of experiences that you will still want to share with us as I bring on board our next presenter who is an accountant per se. So let me see if I have questions before I call on Mr. Shina so he can begin to get set. Oh, shares in gold, ma. Okay, great presentation. Thank you, Honorable Topper. Oh, thank you so much. And this conference is very clearly understood. Thank you so much, man. So our audience are already appreciating us. So your time is not wasted, ma. And then we've really achieved a lot. And thank you so much, sir. Your time is also not wasted.
It's been a pleasure.
Because I know it's for us to have a whole counselor to come and sit with us for 2 hours. I don't know what we've done to deserve that. So I just want to say thank you to City of David as well, because I know Councillor Akin is a family of, is a friend of City of David. So anything from us is always ready to help. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Pastor Ayo. You have always been an amazing support to us. So now we are going to money accountants. So everybody, I deliberately put that towards the end because we may not finish that conversation because it's a money matter thing. But before we go deep into that conversation, I will just quickly do a recap of what the budget has actually said. Then I will now call on Mr. Shina. I will be asking questions directly, so we would look at it. So on my screen here, you would see some things that we've put together. It's like a summary of the 2025 autumn budgets, and I think I would try to do this in 5 minutes. Media team, can we have power for this? Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have a low battery here. Thank you. So the first thing is that the budget has been announced November 2025, and the good thing about the UK government is, while I was reading the budget, I was seeing 2027, 2028, things that will happen in April 2027. They're already saying it now. So I'm really impressed to see that. And that is one of the things that I think our government back in the North and the Global South, I don't want to mention any country in the Global South, we need to look at, because I was impressed when I was reading this budget. I was really impressed.
Can I comment on that?
Please come in, sir, because it's your area of expertise.
My area of expertise. Now, one thing I've learned about governance in the UK is futuristic planning and how we look at things on a holistic level in terms of planning for the future. So, for instance, now, in the Stevenage, we've already mapped out a 4-year plan in terms of the development of Stevenage. I'm sure you've seen the regeneration that is going on.
Yes,
indeed. Skyline is going to change massively in the next 3 years. We already mapped out a program for it. Over 1.4 billion has been spent. It's
1.4 billion pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and now this is to do with data. You see, we're not data driven where you're talking about. That's the problem. The British government, and like a lot of Western governments, have data. That's why I kept on having it in my presentation. Data is the new goal. We need to have data. Digital transformation is very necessary for governance in sub-Saharan Africa. I wouldn't want to name the country, but in sub-Saharan Africa, digital transformation is needed across the board. If we're going to move into the future, we're in the digital age now, we're in the AI age, we're in the robotics age, and we're still doing things analogly. Analog minds don't fit into the digital age. It's like square pegs in round holes. So you see these guys, the way they're planning futuristically is because they have the data to back it up. They've seen the population growth. They've seen how, because they capture the data when people are entering the airport and leaving the country. Then they use it, they map out analytics on it and they see the people using the NHS, for instance, the demand for school places, everything is captured analytically. And once they use all these reports, and they generate these reports, and they use it to plan. But we need to have that digital transformation foundation to enable us to reach this level. Every other thing is building on sand. And we all know a house built on sand will crumble, and that's exactly what we're seeing in terms of governance. So
futuristic.
To be futuristic, you need the bedrock of digital transformation, to be the data, to be the foundation of it.
So if some of our decision maker, policy makers in sub-Saharan Africa, you are watching this session, we're going to have another session for development planning in some of our future sessions. So, but this is for us. Digital transformation is very key. Futuristic planning is very important. Because I know we have budget in Nigeria too, but I'm just always wondering. I think I heard about budget padding at the time anyway. So, Mr. Shina, you have a lot to say, I know. So budget padding. So, and I think even in the UK here, I will be driving and I will see that they are breaking a road. And I will be telling my wife or whoever we are together that this road is good. Why are they breaking it again? They said they must maintain it.
You'll be surprised.
Because it's in the budget.
The budget, exactly. And that thing would have been planned years before. That development you're seeing, that road redevelopment you're seeing, or road rehabilitation program would have been planned, I maybe 4 to 5 years before.
Wow.
They would have mapped it out in the budget that is going to happen. They don't just come up with emergency road projects overnight. No.
Because I was wondering, this road is good. There is no pothole, there is nothing, and then you just block and start breaking it again.
Yeah. Because they've realized the condition of that road. You are saying it, but they've looked at it, and the engineers have looked at it. It requires maintenance, which is end of life.
Wow. So road has end of life.
Yeah, it does.
When our road back there is already
roads expire.
Yeah, road
surfaces expire.
Oh my God.
You'd be surprised to know that.
So road have end of years.
It does.
When we don't even have road.
We don't even have road.
God will see us through. So the core objective of the government in this budget that we have, that we are discussing, is there are 4 objectives from our summary. The first is they want to fund essential services. That is, the government want to increase investment in NHS, social care, and public service to improve quality and access. And I saw it in the news yesterday when the Prime Minister was announcing I think my daughter showed that to me. He was announcing the £3 cap. That's the transport cap, that no transportation in the UK will go beyond above £3.
Yeah, because we've suffered 14 years of Tory austerity, like I was saying before, and a lot of these companies were increasing stupidly. Even with the austerity measures, strict austerity, they were allowing transport companies to increase ticket prices.
Wow.
So that's why this is a welcome announcement by this government that there's a freeze on ticket prices.
Wow. So I saw that and I was impressed. The second objective that the government wants to achieve is support household. So they want to relieve on energy bill, like we mentioned, 150 cap, but I think it's
and that's not going to start till April 2026.
Yeah.
But that 150 is like a tiny drop. It's welcome, but it's a tiny drop in the ocean, because if you're paying 3K a year on energy, 2.5 on average for a 3-bed household, I know 150 is saving, but in the scheme of things,
you still need to be smarter.
You still need to be smarter. So follow Pastor Ayo's recommendations on how to save on your energy. So much, so don't be waiting for that 150. Clever things like switching off your standby appliances, clever things like turning off the lights, less heating in some rooms. If there's nobody in the room, shut down that radiator to that room.
So when you on all that, the central heater, all the radiator doesn't need to be on.
It doesn't need to be on. Because the more you allow the water to circulate, that's how this the radiator system works, the boiler system. The more it supplies more rads, the more it's using gas. So if there's no one in that room, just shut it down. Shut down that rad, because it's using less energy.
The energy
is using less gas. Yeah.
Wow. And I think another lesson that I learned from what Pastor Ayo said the other time is monitor your gas, your energy consumption. I noticed that we're just consuming a lot of energy, and I called the provider and I said, I noticed that I'm consuming so much energy. And what they said is you can monitor it. And they sent me this digital monitor free of charge.
Yeah, free of charge. And that's why I always beg people, move to smart metering. People are scared of smart meters, but they don't realize that's the best way to monitor your energy use. But the only way you can get that monitor sent to you is because you're on a smart
meter. Wow.
And then, which is the best thing to move to, smart metering, and it's free. Call your energy provider, tell them you want your meter to be changed to a smart meter. That way you'll be able to monitor your energy use in real time, because you're seeing it. As soon as you turn on the kettle, you see the increase in kilowatt hour demand. Because kettles, electric cookers, microwaves,
and then
ovens, electric ovens, dryers, electric irons, all those appliances are what they consume, because they're what is called the power circuit. They're not on the lighting circuit. Electric fans, lights, and all that are on lighting circuit, so they demand less. But when you now put on your AC, you put on things like that, electric oven, your electric iron, kettle, those are more demanding for energy. And then you're obviously, and microwaves as well.
The little challenge I'm actually thinking is this kind of thing. If you are now in a rented apartment, is it possible to request that they change it to?
You might have to ask your landlord in some cases, but in most cases, you are the one paying the bill. So it's a given for your landlord. No, because you are the one paying the bill.
Okay.
So you just tell the landlord. But in most cases, I've had people in my presentations, they just request for it from the energy company because you're the one paying the bill.
Okay.
So
and that's not accounting for a breach of agreement within you and.
So you can in some cases ask your landlord, but really I don't see how it's a breach because as long as you're paying your bill to the satisfaction, how you pay it doesn't matter. And don't forget that smart meter is allowing. The other advantage is allowing to know how much you owe the energy company in real time. So they can't keep your money in credit. Because a lot of these companies, they'll say because you're using the old meter style, they'll keep £700-800 of your money in credit. Can you imagine? They're using that money to trade.
To do something.
And Martin Lewis, which is another program I want people to be watching, the Martin Lewis Money Show on ITV, is very good. The consumer program.
Martin Lewis.
Yes. So those are clever ways of actually monitoring your bills because you don't need these guys to be keeping your money. They've kept billions. You'll be amazed. The energy companies are keeping billions. I'm not talking 2-3 billion.
My present provider, they still said I have over £100.
That's what I'm saying.
So maybe I will tell them to
send it to your account. So they're keeping people's money. So it's not worth it. And we just need to be smarter about how we're going about these things.
Okay. Thank you so much. So then the government wants to rebalance tax burden and then they want to stimulate growth. So let me run quick to it because Mr. Shina is fully ready for us. So now the government wants to reduce inflation by 0.5. So they want to reduce it by 0.5 from what it is. They want it to decrease a bit. And then these are the impact of the budget on individual and household, which we have discussed. So they are frozen threshold until April 2031. So this is a great one. And I know Mr. Shina is ready to explain that to us because some of these jargons here, some of us in this gathering may not know because you are an accountant and you've been doing this for years. I know you will be able to break it into this. And I'm aware that you've been helping people even recover funds from their taxes that they've overpaid. So you would also tell us when we know, how do we know when we are overpaying? So then they said personal allowances will now be on a threshold of 12,570, higher rate threshold 50,270, and additional rate threshold 125, 140. And then there's an example here that if your salary increased from 32,000 today to 37,000 by 2028, you would pay significantly more tax despite rates staying the same. Future pay rise feels smaller in your pocket, okay? Then tax rates stay the same, so there is no significant change in the tax rates in this budget. Then the fiscal drag consequence, so that is another impact. So we've had some points here that we noted, but we would not waste much time on this because Mr. Shino will help us. Then benefits, universal credit, and pension. So the key changes from April 2026. So universal credit, I think Councillor Akin told us this, that 2-child limits removed. They've been removed 2-child limits. That means
more people out of poverty, more children out of poverty.
So now they want people to born more.
Yes.
And then
stimulate population growth.
Okay.
In terms of the future of the UK.
Because I know if you want to, but that would be for citizens anyway. People that have
it's not for, because obviously if you don't have your right to stay in the country, you can't access public funds.
Okay. Then they've also increased universal credit by 6.2.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be putting more pressure on them. And now they are telling skilled workers to stay for 10 years and they are still increasing this.
Well, that's because they realized that from studies, you see, this is the other thing about data and analytics. They realized that the present group of immigrants, if they are allowed to come into
this scheme,
if they have the right to stay, right to
ILR, independent to remain, have you?
Yes, the ILR. If they come into the ILR status, there's going to be a huge tranche of them. And they realize they'll put pressure on the benefit system.
But can't
So
we?
unfortunately, that's what led to that decision by the Labour government to move it, because the economy cannot afford it. Don't forget that they're coming out of serious. The British economy is in trouble. I mean, within a short space of time, he will say it too. Shina will say the same thing, because they had Brexit and then COVID came. So it was like the perfect storm.
They were still bouncing
They were
back
still bouncing back because they did not realize the shock Brexit would bring into the economy, but it was a big shock. And we're still suffering from the effects of Brexit because a lot of companies are leaving Britain for the Eurozone. And this is what's creating the other thing, unemployment at the moment. Serious one. There's a serious one. And that's why a lot of people that have come with huge expectations of the COD thing, they realize it's not as easy as they thought it would be. Because Britain is not as rich as it used to be. And then COVID came, which really cost the government a lot of money to keep people at home and pay them to stay at home. And they borrowed so much money, which generations will have to still pay back. So there's that scenario is what is guiding all these decisions.
Well, but just by the side, we're speaking on behalf of the masses now, because you're a Labour person. Politics aside.
Did you have to tell them my party?
But I think there are petitions going on all around, actually. But instead of telling these people contributing to the economy to wait for another 10 years, we can actually say, if you give them ILR, then don't allow.
We're lucky that Kevin Biden isn't in power, is it?
Yeah,
because she wouldn't even be negotiating with them. She'll be kicking them out.
I know, but nevertheless, they can ask ILR holder not to have access to public funds rather than extending the state, because not everybody that wants to have ILR wants to actually benefit from this.
But you know,
public fund.
But you know, the public fund is just part of it.
Okay.
The other benefits to it, and you know, like housing, public housing, and all that. And right now, the country has a huge deficit. The people on the queue, and off the top of my head, I think still we have about 4,000 on the waiting list
that needed public house.
Yeah, there are no houses. And if you extrapolate it across the country, it's a perfect storm. So, like I said before, the country is really struggling. We've had 14 years of Tories not allowing us to build councils to build public housing. And this is where the problem is now. Labour has met a huge problem. And it's not easy. And like I said before, you cannot turn around an oil tanker ship just like that. It's like an oil tanker. Can you turn it around in one day? No. Those huge oil tankers you see on the sea. No. That's the British economy for you. It's going to take some years. I don't even think this budget is the best start to where we're going. And I don't even think we're going to start. Look at it at the frozen tax thresholds till 2031. That just goes to show the futuristic planning. So you can see that this oil tanker is being turned around.
I think I'm impressed with that anyway. That's impressive. So working age benefits, they've rise by 3.8% across board, and then national living wage, it's going to rise to 12.71 per hour.
Put pressure.
So I think we were discussing with an employer last week, and then it was not really going to be good for employers.
And with the N9 increase and all that.
So if you are a business owner or you know someone that is running a business, I think it's important you quickly share this session with them to join now. You can still watch on our YouTube channel later, and that would also help you to learn from all of this conversation, because we are hearing from the horse's mouth, and experts are coming to break it down further, as I will be submitting soon. So the budget also says that every increase counts. So I will skip this. Energy, transport, and daily living costs. I think we've explained this as well. So the budget says that from April 2026, their average household energy bill will fall by 150, which we said is not significant. Then we also have it at fuel duty frozen until September 2026. So duty will be on fixed for that, which is good. Then some rail fare and prescription charges has also been frozen. And I think I mentioned that not long. And then until April 2028, then there is new EV mileage tax. When I saw this, I was laughing that some of us that were already high in EV, that from 2028, we would definitely be paying £3 per.
We want to level the playing field.
Yes.
Because they don't want EV motorists to have such an advantage over the fossil fuel.
Because fossil fuel is also generating revenue in jobs and the like, so that people will not fall out of jobs. So
because they pay fuel duty on their fuel.
So for EV, we will be paying £3 per mile. Then over the years,
3 pence.
3 pence, sorry. Then for hybrid, is 1.5 pence per mile. So, but that is in April 2028.
Yeah, that's not for 3 years.
Futuristics, like you said. So for EV owners, we can quickly just take advantage of the 2 years gap. For savings, investment, and pension, these are the adjustments. From April 2026, the dividend tax will increase, which is a big burden on business owners. And then holding large dividend income outside ISA becomes more costly.
Yeah.
Then in 2027 April, savings and property income tax will increase. So cash ISA limits for under 65 drops to 12,000. This, I wasn't too happy with this because some of us that are investing, they are taking advantage of the 20,000 ISA.
Yeah.
But now they've dropped the ISA from 20,000 to 12,000 from April 2027. So what that
tax
implies,
anything outside 12,000.
yes. Then anything outside 12,000 now, you have to pay tax.
Yeah.
Pay tax on it, which is not helping those that are under 65 actually. Then April 2029, the pension salary sacrifice only first 2,000. Mr. Shino will be able to explain this to us. Only first 2,000 per year is national insurance free. So I don't know what it was before, but this is also, sir? Oh, it was 5,000 before. So it's now 2,000. So it's going to put more tax. People are going to pay more tax. And don't be surprised, they have saved us 150 from energy. And that is what Councillor is trying to say. And they are now saying that 2,000 we only have allowance, which means if you look at the cost you will pay on the 3,000 that does not have, it may be more than the 150 they are saving.
That's why I said earlier it was
from energy.
not significant. It's not.
Yeah. Then in 2031, this was what I saw that made me feel so impressed that it's really futuristic indeed. So, Mr. Shino, I hope you are fully set for us, and then we can allow you to come in. Councillor Akin, if you want to have a stretch, you are free for some time, but if you are happy to still be with us, fine. So that's that for household. Mr. Shino, what can you say on all of this? Or do you want me to go straight to your question? Or you want to react?
Let me also recap something. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is additional just that introduced, and I'm an accountant for the UK. I'm the director of AI and accounting and tax. They have covered almost everything we discussed about the budget, but just a little more insight into it and break them down a little bit more. When you hear about fiscal drag, what they're just trying to say there is that when your salary increases and your band rate is not increasing along with the increase in salary, it makes you pay a little bit more tax. That is the fiscal drag. That is the summary of the fiscal drag. An increase in income without a corresponding increase in the band rate of exemption before you start paying tax. That is, you are paying more, you are earning more, however, you're also going to be paying more tax on what you are earning. That is the fiscal drag. So it's two ways. It's both positive and negative. It depends on the way you plan it. Everything about budget is about planning. Just like what you have been saying from the beginning, you need to sit down and plan your income on annual basis. You don't wait for 5 years or 3 years to plan your income because this changes every year. So if you start from the threshold, the increase in the minimum wage now from, I think, for those above 21 years old, their minimum wage is increased by 50p from £12.21 to £12.71 per hour. Employers can pay more than that. For those that are below between 18 to 21 years old, those ones, they are increased from £10 to £10.85, which is about 85p increase. And for those that are apprentices or below 18 years old, theirs is increased by 45p from £7.55 to £8 per hour. So that is the summary of just the increase. Now, so all So now, if there are some people at the moment, they are earning £50,000. I just want to make it a layman explanation. There are some people earning £50,000 now because the threshold for high income earner where you start paying 40% tax is 50,270. They are still paying all their income at 20% after taking out their personal allowance. Because of this increase in the minimum wage, a lot of them will, part of their income will fall into the bracket of high income earner. However, the high income earning threshold has not been increased beyond 50,270. So they will see an increase in income, but there won't, because there's no increase in the threshold, part of their income will fall into 40%. Not all, because this is how the calculation is being done. If your income per annum is 50,000, you take out your 12,570 personal allowance from it. Whatsoever is left on it is taxed at 20%. Now, some people used to have this misconception that you have to earn 12,570 first before you start paying tax. No, that is not the way it works. The government will spread that 30,000 or 40,000 by 12, and they calculate the tax on monthly basis. So you don't finish your personal allowance before you start paying that. Because I've seen a lot of clients who call and say, I've not earned 12,000, they're already taxing me. No. And a lot of people make a lot of mistake about their income. The way it works here, nothing is hidden. Just like our councillor said, everything is open and it's about data. You are doing a current job and you want to start a second job and you feel you are smart. You don't want to take the second employer that you have an existing job. Fine. Both of them will put you on your personal allowance and you earn it. But at the end of the year, government in their magnanimous, they will help you to add everything together and remove only the personal allowance. You will just see a letter in April and say you are owing us 1,500. One thing about the UK government is they won't cheat you, but you will struggle to cheat them, except they don't know what you are earning. So they will send you a letter you are owing them, and they are so gracious enough, they can spread it for you, but they will let you know you are owing. So if you have a first job, be kind enough to tell your second employer, I have an existing job. So they can put you on either 20% or 40%. Otherwise, the money will accumulate at the end of the year, then you pay the tax. That is one thing we need to establish. Now, back to the budget. At the moment, we have 12,570 for the basic income earner. Those are the people that earn below 50,270. Then we have the high income earnings start from 5270. So if you are, let's say you are earning 60,000 salary in a year, 12,570 will be taken out as your personal allowance. So if you take 12,570 out, you have about 30-something thousand left to get to 50,270. The 30,000 plus that will take you up to 50,270 will be taxed at 20%. Then your 40% tax will start from anything you earn above £50,270. That is the way the calculation is being done. So now what the budget is trying to do is the budget is increasing your household income, which is the gross, but because the threshold is not increased, you might see a little bit increase in the tax you are going to be paying. So from April next year, when you receive your pay slip and you discover that you are paying a little bit more tax than what you have been paying in the previous years, it's just because of the increase in the national living wage without a corresponding increase in the threshold that is being set for tax-free or for high income earner. Now, for those earning above 125,000, one thing about it again is for every income you earn above, for every £1 or for every £2 you earn above 100,000 in a year, you are losing £1 of your personal allowance. So if you earn up to 125,000 salary in a year, automatically you have lost all your personal allowance for the year. So you don't have any tax-free for that particular year. Now, these are the set of people that requires the proper tax planning on pension, on ISA, and every other thing. Now, the protocol mentioned something about the salary sacrifice. This has been a practice, something that has been in practice for a very long year. People use it to save tax over the period. And the reason why there's a difference between salary sacrifice and pension contribution, both of them save you tax, but salary sacrifice saves you both tax and employee and employer NI. And the threshold before now is 5,000. So the government is saying that a lot of people are taking advantage of that. And just like our councillor said, the the disadvantage of what happened during the Brexit time, where the government lost a lot of revenue and spent a lot of money, really created a kind of imbalance in the budgets up to now that they are trying to fill the gap. During the Brexit, a lot of people were paid salary by the government, 80%, 70%, based on the salary they were earning before the Brexit. And those set of people were not even generating income. So a lot of money were given out, the 50,000 pounds back they were given to companies, which majority are not even paying back up to now, really created a kind of gap in what the government is trying to do and what they are generating. So there might be a little bit increase in revenue generation by the government just to make sure they stabilize the economy and also take care of those households that are low income earners. That is why they are trying to freeze the threshold, increase the salary. You pay more tax, but the tax extra you are paying is being used to take care of families who have more children, but only 2 of them can be on child benefit. So by taking out that, government is saying they are going to support additional 450,000 children to come on the scheme, which will increase more money for the families to be able to take care of them. So they are increasing the universal credits. They are increasing the, what is it called? They are increasing the pension as well for those that have pension at the moment. So all of this is just to bring the kind of stability in the economy. So that is that about that. But what we are going to look more into today is what can you do? How can you prepare yourself for this? Also, the government is also trying to clamp down on people that are not paying the right tax they are meant to pay. So that is the system that all of us we have to prepare for in 26 going forward. A lot of people, their lifestyle does not match with the income they are declaring to the HMRC. The HMRC is investing a lot in AI. And I've been telling most of my clients that at the moment, don't just go and stand in front of Ferrari and be taking picture on Facebook. Don't stand in front of a Lamborghini that you are not the owner and you are taking picture, posting it on your webpage, because they are using AI now to track everybody's lifestyle. If you are snapping in front of Ferrari, Lamborghini, and when they look at your income is showing 10,000 per annum is what you are earning. And at the end of the year, you are declaring, you are showing that you are driving Lamborghini, you are driving Ferrari. That will trigger a level of investigation that probably this person is not declaring the specific income they are earning. So these are the things that we all need to look out for as regards how to plan our ways in the year 2026 going forward. We are going to take some of the questions. For business owners, some of the taxes that are also going to be increased is the property income tax for those that have properties and maybe in their name or in the name of it. If you have the property in the name of the business, the tax is still 19%, 25%. We are going to go into that. But if you have the property in your personal name, if your threshold of income in a year, if you fall to the category of the high income earner, meaning you earn above 50,000 in a year, any profit you make from that property you are renting out in your personal name, that you bought in your personal name, will be taxed at 42% from 2026. Before now, it is taxed at 40%, which is the high income threshold, but the government is increasing it by 2%. If you are earning below 50,000, which makes you a basic income earner, and you have property you are renting out, any profit you make on that property from 2026 will be taxed at 22%. As again the 20% that has been taxed. Just like we said before, there is imbalance in the revenue generation in the budget or the budget funding. So the government is trying to raise funds as much as they can, anywhere they can raise the fund from. So also the ISA that my brother talked about as well is just the cash ISA. The stock and the shares ISA is still 20,000 threshold from that 2029. It's only the cash ISA that is reduced to 12,000 per annum. And the benefit of ISA, all of us, we know it. It's not like 12,000 is taken out of your income to reduce your tax. It's the interest you are earning from that ISA that is not going to be taxed. So let us get it properly right. So it's not like I'm saving ISA 20,000, so it will reduce my income. So ISA is not it's something you do to save, to plan your personal income tax. No, it's just the interest you are getting on it that is not going to be taxed. So up to that 20,000, the interest is not going to be taxed, which is reduced to 12,000 for those below 65 years old. So if you are above 65 years old, you can still do your 20,000 even under cash ISA. It's only going to be for people 65 years old and below. We will still take the general questions, but I'm just trying to run through some of the things. And if you have any questions, you can send it to the group. Now, another thing about the EV vehicle is this. At the moment, for every consumer of diesel or petrol, we are paying tax on what we on the petrol we are buying. Now, the other thing that we are looking out for is government is trying to persuade everybody to go on electric vehicle. Now, if you are going on electric vehicle, which is not taxed, government discovered that there's going to be a drop in the revenue generation because more people will be on electric vehicle, which they are trying to encourage. They want to make everything go green. You understand? They want to discourage the use of petrol, diesel, which will make them lose revenue. So if everybody is going electric, they are just trying to see how they can match that difference between what they are going to lose on the tax they are charging on petrol and diesel and get a little from electric vehicle as well. So that's why they are trying to introduce that. And you can see that they put it in a very long-term plan, which they believe that if they start now, a lot of people are still being encouraged to go into electric vehicles. So by 2028, they expect more than 75% of the economy to be on electric vehicle, and that is when that particular tax. So that doesn't stop the benefit attached to using electric vehicle. You still have a lot of advantage for using electric vehicle. It's cost efficient, it's economic friendly, it is weather friendly, and no emission of gas here and there, which is good for every one of us. So that is that about that. Then the minimum wage, just like we said before, £12.71 is going to be the minimum going forward from April, from £12.21, and that is for those that are 21 years upward. Now, the employer NI for, let's go to business now. The employer NI rates contribution, because there are two types of NI, national insurance contribution. There is an employee NI contribution and there is employer NI contribution. The employee NI contribution is paid by the employee from their salary. The employer NI is an additional contribution that is made by an employer on behalf of the employee. At the moment, every employer have a threshold of 10,000, which they don't pay. But for those that employed a lot of people, they might exhaust their 10,000 even within 2-3 months, and they start paying employer NI. Now, so the benefit to the employer is that the disadvantage to the employer, that is an increase in salary automatically increase the amount of employer NI they will be paying, because employer NI is also linked to the gross salary that you are earning. So if you are paying more employer NI and your threshold is still fixed at 10,000 for the allowance you have, so there's possibility that businesses, aside from the fact that they will be paying more in salary because of the increase in the minimum wage, they will also be paying more in what is it called? They'll be paying more in employer NI as a result of the increase. Now, the government felt this would be a lot of burden on the employer, and they have decided to freeze the tax rates for now till 2031, I think. So they are saying if your income, the profit you make from your business is less than 50,000 in a year, you pay 19% tax on it, which is what we have inherited, everything that has been coming, even right from over 6-7 years ago. But if the profit you make from your business is above 50,000, you will pay 19% on the 50,000, they prorate it. You pay 19% on the 50,000, and you pay 25% on what you earn, the profit you earn above 50,000. Let me clear it. We are talking about the profits, not your revenue. Let's say you make an income of 75,000 and you have expenses of 25,000. So that means automatically you make a profit of 50,000. So that 50,000 will be taxed at 19%. But let's say you make an income of 100,000 and you have expenses of the same 25. That means you have made 75,000 profits. 50,000 will be taxed at 19%. The remaining 25% will be taxed. The remaining 25,000 will be taxed at 25%. Now, for those that their profit is more than 250,000 a year, is flat rate of 25%, irrespective of the level. They don't prorate that. So those are the things that will affect businesses here and there. Now, I know some of the questions will still come, but we need to look at how you can even plan your tax. Just like I said earlier, everything everybody can do now is just to sit down and plan their taxes every year. Because your salary is increasing does not mean that your net pay is also going to increase the way your salary is increasing. So don't plan your expenses based on the increase in your salary. Don't say my salary is going to increase from 50,000 to 60,000 this year. So I have 10,000 extra to spend on. No. Always plan on your net pay. So if your salary is increased by 50,000 just because of this fiscal drag, if your salary is increased by 10,000, that doesn't mean your net pay is going to increase by 10,000. Your net pay might not increase by more than maybe 5,000 or 6,000 because of that 10,000 might drag you into a high income earner where you'll be paying 40% tax on it. So we need to sit down annually. Don't plan ahead in 3 years. Sit down every year and look at how much am I earning? How much will be my net pay? So make your outflow, your household expenses, base it on your net pay. And just like experts used to say, they said it's 50, 30, 20. 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and 20% for your savings. So if there's anything that you are going to tamper with, it's going to be that 30%. So if any adjustment you have to make sure it fits into the new tax system, it has to be with the 30% that is your wants, not your basic needs. So that is just generally everything. Now there's something about business owners. I'm just trying to mix everything together. For business owners, that you are running a business, and a lot of people are saying, I've seen people that said, my children's school fees, I want to pay it from my business account. Can I claim it as an expenses? There's 4 things the government is testing, because when HMRC come with their brand envelopes, I know a lot of clients, they don't even want to see that brand. Once they see, they will keep it. They don't want to open it because they don't know what is there. They believe they are insulting them. Now, the bottom line is there are a lot of things that trigger, which is part of the questions I know some people might want to ask, that trigger investigation with HMRC, which we are going to look into 1 or 2 of them. If you are a business owner running a business, ask yourself these 4 questions before you can say these expenses is a business-related expenses. Number 1, is the expenses you are trying to pay for, is it only meant for your business? Number 2, is it a necessary expenses? Even if it is meant for the business, is this necessary? Number 3, is it exclusively meant for the business? And number 4, even if it is passing all the 3 tests, the last question is it a reasonable expenses you are spending? As a business owner, you want to go and lodge in the hotel, and you are the only one going there. Why are you going into presidential suits? It's not reasonable. You can still get something more comfortable. Though it's your business, it's your business. But those are the things HMRC looks at when they are trying to check and investigate businesses. So those should be our guidelines. And I know the time is beyond 2 o'clock now, so I'll allow our talker to take his questions, and then so that we can quickly, won't take too much of your time.
Mr. Shina, thank you so much, Mr. Shina. It has been so insightful. I've been receiving a lot of comments from our guests. Yeah, so we still have questions for Mr. Shina. So let's not distract him now, media team. So okay. So are you ready, sir? Okay, so thank you so much. I know we have a lot of questions that people are already willing to ask. So we'll be checking the comment section to see questions that will be coming in. And don't worry, we're also going to share this presentation with us later after now, especially those that are registered. If you have not registered, go to our seller page and then drop your message. So Mr. Shina has just finished speaking. So Mr. Shina is a UK practicing accountant and the founder of E&E Accounting and Tax, providing comprehensive accounting and tax services to individuals, SMEs, and growing enterprises in the UK. He supports clients with tax planning, annual account preparation, corporate and self-assessment filing, and financial compliance, ensuring they remain tax efficient and fully aligned with the UK financial regulations. Mr. Shina, with strong experience supporting growing businesses, he provides clear practice practical guidance that improve financial control and strengthens long-term performance. So some of these questions that I want to ask you, I deliberately read out your profile again to now ask. The first thing is, you mentioned something. You said many people are always afraid of the moment they see that brown envelope from HMRC, there is always that fear. So what are the major penalties or fines that people face from your experiences that could affect, even because I was aware, I read something yesterday. I read it yesterday that somebody's ILR application was rejected because he has a 300 unpaid fine. And they wrote back to him that he needs to go and sort that out. And he never knew that he was having that kind of a fine. So the first question is, what are the major penalties, fines that people could get as a result of not paying tax or paying lesser tax or whatever thing? So what are those fines and what are their implications? Can they affect their immigration status or whatever?
Okay, now there are different kinds of penalties. There are different kinds of penalties that is attached to late filing.
Okay.
There are penalties attached to late payments.
Okay.
If somebody is on PAYE, you don't have any. If somebody is on PAYE, you don't have anything to worry about because your tax is taken from source. The only thing that you need to be aware of is if you have underpaid tax, and HMRC will always reach out to you, write you a letter, and you need to know that, okay. But one thing you should know is, I think I will encourage everybody to have a personal government gateway account for themselves. With that, you can monitor. Some employers are so dubious. They give you pay slip, but they don't submit that salary to the HMRC. So you can use the personal gateway to monitor whether they are submitting your tax or they are submitting your salary. Remember, once they give you pay slip and they file the gross pay, the burden has been shifted away from you to the employer. So you don't need to worry if your employer did not remit the tax. As far as they have deducted it from you and you have confirmed that that tax salary has been submitted to HMRC, then the burden of payment is with the employer, not with you. Because I've seen a lot of people, I want to confirm whether they're paying my tax. It's not your business. If the employer is not paying, HMRC will not come after you that the tax they deduct from your salary is not paid. No, they will go after the employer. That's one thing. Now, the issue of late filing, late payment, all of those affects people that are running businesses, either as a sole trader, as a limited company, partnership, CIC, or any other kind of business. Those people are the ones that really need to look out for it. Now, if you're a sole trader, that means your money is being paid into your personal account without removing tax and NI. So if you do a shift of 1,000, they pay you 1,000. Then you register with HMRC, you have your UTR. HMRC expects you to remit what you have received between 6th of April the previous year until 5th of April the following year, telling them this is my income, because that's why they call it self-assessment. You are the one assessing yourself, not like they are deducting it from source. So you will let them know, subject to investigation, they can pick up any account and investigate, but you are the one doing the assessment and the submission. So they will look at, you are telling them, I've received 10,000, my expenses is 5,000. If you have other PAYE job, it will be added to that self-assessment, then you pay your tax on it. Now, if HMRC said this is from 6th of April the previous year to 5th of April the current year, they give everybody 9 months gap to remit and pay the tax. So from the 5th of April that following year to the 31st of January the following year, you are supposed to return it to the government and tell them how much profit you have made and pay the tax. If by 31st of January, and the government nowadays, they will remind you with everything they have. So you don't have an excuse to say you don't know. They will send you a letter. They are sending a lot of people text messages now. If you have a government gateway account, they will send you an email. They can send you 5 letters until, if you now decide not to still do it by 31st of January, they now start giving you penalty, and the penalty is based on number of days. So if the first 30 days, the first day you refuse to file it is £100. Now, for the next 30 days, it will continue to increase by, I think, I know you can get up to £1,800 if it takes a certain number of months before you file it. But they calculate the penalty every day. Now, if you submit your tax, you are not going to get the late filing penalty. But if you don't pay the tax on it, then they will start calculating the late payment penalty and interest. So, and if you pay your tax on time, let's say you calculate it by May, the tax year ended on the 5th of April, you submit your tax by end of April, you pay your tax by May. They will expect you to pay that money by 31st of January the following year. If you pay that money by May, they will give you interest from that May to that 31st of January that you pay earlier. They will give you interest. So it's always a fair system that they run. If you pay early, you get interest. If you pay late, they charge you interest. So that's about individual business owners. Now, for people that run limited company does not work with 6th of April to 5th of April. It works based on when your business was set up. Let's say we are in December now. If you set up a business in December, HMRC expects you to do your return after 1 year. So after that 1 year, that's the end of your financial year. They will now give you another 9 months, just like the individual, to submit it and pay the tax. Companies House do 9 months, HMRC do 1 year for the first year. So if you do not submit it on time, Companies House will give you penalty. The moment you fail to file by the deadline for Companies House, there's grace period. You can notify them like a week or 2 weeks before the deadline that you want an extension. They can extend it for 3 months for you. But if you don't notify them and you cross beyond that, even you yourself on Companies House will see your company showing red. So once you cross that period, the first penalty they give is £150. After that £150, if you keep it for another 2-3 months, it goes to £375. And on and on and on and on. That one can get up to £3,000 as well. And I think the government is proposing to even increase the penalties for late filing of company account. So that is how it works. So there's always a grace period of 9 months for you to do whatsoever you need to do and submit it. But those are the penalties attacked because of our time. I know there are other questions too.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shino. I know this is your area of expertise, and you are always passionate to deliver excellently in that. And I'm proud that you are doing this job as expected. So for our viewers at home, we want you to please drop your questions. I know some of you have already dropped questions. So someone said he wants to have the contact of Mr. Shino. I'll be sharing that with you immediately after the session. So media team, Mr. Tokwe is so please take note. So you mentioned all of these fines and penalties, and I'm so impressed with that. But the question that I have here is it possible, like you said, that PAYE is to be deducted? So if you're PAYE, you have no fear. Your employer will have done it's expected to put remittance.
You are muted, sir.
Okay, ma. Our attention has been called to it. Thank you so much. So I will recap the question. So you have been able to tell us extensively that for people that are doing PAYE job, there is no likelihood of them not paying their tax, except if they are underpaying or whatever. Because I have people that are doing PAYE that they received letter recently that they are owing government, maybe because their tax code changes or something. Yeah, they are doing so. Yeah, so I have people, a lot of them like that.
Change the employment within the year.
Yeah.
You are changing the employment within the year. Take your P45 from the previous employer and give it to your new employer, so that you will know how much allowance you have left. Don't just go there and start afresh.
Okay. So for those of us here, if you are changing a job within a year, you are expected to take your P45 from your previous employer and give it to your new employer. with that, Home Office, HMRC will not bring that letter to you. Now, the question specifically now is, if I did not open a gateway, and that's the advice to us, we are asked to all go and have a gateway. If you want to know more about that, we will be sharing Mr. Shino's number. Media, can you type Mr. Shino's number on the chat session? So we'll be dropping Mr. Shino's number in the chat session and his email address, so you can contact his company for more information on how to have a gateway. So if I don't have a gateway and my employer is not remitting or does not capture my PAYE for HMRC to see, am I still going to be liable because the HMRC will see that I'm not paying that? Or how can I know that I am not captured? You understand?
No.
And I'm doing the job. So is it possible?
Yes, we have seen instances like that before. People pay their government into your account. And people are here now. I can use it. We have had instances like that before, that people said their salary has been filed and genuinely filed by the employer. But when they create their gateway, they don't find it there. There are sometimes we have system glitch. All we need to do is call HMRC and they will get it sorted. Secondly, another thing that can cause it, which is common, is if your NI, which is your unique employment reference with HMRC, your employer give you employee number, but that is not what HMRC is using. Employee number is generated by the employers. What the government recognizes you with as an employer is your NI. If there's an error in your NI, maybe you're supposed to end with T, they end it with B. No matter what they remit under your name, it will not reflect on your gateway. So for every pay slip you have, two things is important every time you get your pay slip. Look at the tax code that is being used for you, if it's the right one. If your tax code is right, you don't need to fight about whatsoever the tax they are taking from, because they can't use the right tax code for you and charge you more tax.
How do you know when the tax code is right or wrong?
Because HMRC will always send you the tax code they have for you. And if you have your government gateway, you can easily log in and see the current tax code they have for you. Then number two, look at the NI number they are using for you. Is it correct? I've seen people work with an employer for 2 years with wrong NI. If you go to government gateway, you will never see it, because the system that is synchronizing the data will never identify you with the wrong NI. So they won't be able to pull your data. And that is, remember, just like our councillor said, these things are not done manually here. They are not inputted. If you go to the council, the local government in Nigeria, they are still using those big payroll journal that we are typing one by one, calculating salary. This thing here data is being pulled by your unique reference. And that's why when you are self-employed, you have a unique tax reference. If you have another company, they will give your company another UTR. And remember one thing, even if you stop being self-employed, your UTR is still your UTR. Anytime you want to start a new self-employment, all you need to do is to go and activate your UTR. They will not give you two different UTRs. And if you're having duplicate, they have to close one for the other. So your NI is your NI. So if your NI is not correct, no matter what they file for you, it will not reflect on your gateway. So those are the instances that we can see where, but if those two things are not there, without having a glitch, and the NI is correct, there is no reason. Even if your name is not correct, there is no reason why your details should not be on the government gateway.
Thank you so much. My last question, because we've actually spent a lot of time, we're supposed to be 2 hours in this session. We have used 2 hours, 24 minutes, and I can see that the audience are seriously still wanting more. So we will be having a next. Get prepared for next edition, because it's going to be more interactive. So I will try to see if we can wrap it up in 6-7 minutes, because we don't want to keep waiting too long. And then our other speaker has been more than Pastor Mrs. Ayo is also on. We're happy that she's monitoring the process for us as well. And then thank you so much, Mr. Shino. The next question is, we have a lot of people that are into contract. So they are doing contract job. They are paying them. Okay, so thank you. So we have some people that are into contract. So they are doing contract job and they are under an umbrella company, because I could remember I had also been into some contracts that is an umbrella company that is in charge of the payment. So if I'm into contract and I'm under an umbrella company, what difference does it have to be under an umbrella company or to be getting payment directly from your primary employer? And do I need to do anything different as an employee under an umbrella company? So I would like more clarification on this.
Okay, now I used to tell people, a lot of people are in this scenario, in this situation brackets. I do tell people, either you do the job as a PAYE or you do the job under umbrella, as long as it's filed for you as salary, it's the same thing you are paying. But there's a difference. The difference is not in the system, in the taxing system. Your personal allowance is your personal allowance. The threshold is still the threshold, either umbrella or PAYE. The difference is that if you are doing the job as a PAYE, as an employee now, your employer is responsible for your employer NI. But if you are doing the job under umbrella, you are responsible for both the employer NI and the employee NI. And that is why, don't just jump at it. When they say contract is 350, payroll is 300.
Sometimes payroll may be advantageous.
Yes,
Because
it's always advantageous. You know why? Being a contractor, there are some benefits an employee is entitled to that you are not entitled to. That is the compensation they have given you by paying you more than somebody on their payroll. You are not entitled to sick pay. You are not entitled to any holiday pay. All of that will be paid from whatsoever they are paying you. Do you understand? So because they are paying you 500 as a contractor under umbrella and they are paying somebody as 300 under payroll, does not make you better than that person. That is where you need to sit down and calculate. The only advantage umbrella have is that you are not tied to that company for long. You can exit anytime you want because you are seen not as an employee but as a contractor. Do you understand? However, there are some umbrellas that take responsibility to take the money from the employer and use their own insurance cover to pay into the limited company account for the contractor. That's another discussion separately, which is more like a limited company arrangement. They will just take their own legal fee from it and pay to them. You can say you are benefiting from that, but when you take it through the payroll system, it's the same percentage of threshold applied to you that is applied to everybody. So at the end of the day, you will see yourself as a contractor and you are earning £6,000 a week. And at the end of the day, when they pay you salary, you are getting 3,500 as net pay.
And that is what they call inside IR35 and outside IR35.
Outside IR35 is you are doing the job as a contractor with your PA, they call it PSC, personal service company, a limited company. Inside IR35, it has to go through umbrella. So outside IR35, the agency pays directly to your limited company, no deduction, no umbrella. But inside IR35, they will pay you to the umbrella, who will take tax and then pay you the balance. So that's just the difference. Then one thing, let me just quickly mention before we go, is about the pension contribution. Pension contribution is 60,000 threshold for everybody. The government and the budget have not tampered with the threshold. It's still 60%, 60,000. So you can pay 60,000 into pension and you enjoy the tax benefit, tax deduction benefit, which is, let's say your income is 170,000 or 150,000 per annum, and you choose to pay 50,000 or 60,000 into pension in that year. Automatically, the 60,000 will be removed from your gross pay before they calculate your taxable income. So even though you are earning 150, which is above the 125 to lose your personal allowance, because you have paid pension of 60,000, you will still pay the normal 45% and you still retain your personal allowance, because to the government, your taxable income is 90,000, not 150, because you have paid pension. So those are the tax planning that is always required for those earning high and a lot of money. Though the pension is not something that you will not pay tax on it over in the future. But let's look at this simple calculation. If you earn the 60,000 this year and you pay 40% on it, how much is that? That's about 20-something thousand, close to 20-something thousand, or 20,000 or so, or more. That's 40% you are paying on the 60,000. And remember, you will have lost your personal allowance as well. So what you will pay on that 60,000 will be running close to 40,000 or 40,000 plus. But if you pay it into pension, when you get to the pension age and you decide to amortize the pension, at the end of the year, at the end of the period, that money you have saved 40,000, when you earn it, you might end up paying 20% tax on it when you want to start collecting it at the old age. Do you understand? So that's why a lot of people decide to do their tax planning and base it on their pension contribution. And when you do pension contribution, there is net deduction, occupational pension now. Normally, it's supposed to be 5%. But if you do a tax at source scheme, not the net pay arrangement, you are only paying 44%. The HMRC, the government pays the additional 1% to make it 5%. So when they say you are paying 5%, look at your pay slip, calculate 5% of your gross taxable pay. It's always less than what is deducted as pension. It's 4% you are paying, the government is adding 1% to it. But they are not giving you the 1%, they give the 1% to the pension administrator. So that's just what I want to say about pension. I know it's touching already.
So much. Thank you so much, Mr. Shino. This has been so amazing and impactful, and I can't expect less from you because you've been doing this for years. And I'm wondering how you are just getting those figures out straight on top of your head. So I don't know if we have any contribution before I start closing or questions, but there was a question that was mentioned by one of our participants. The person says he has a question for Mr. Councillor Akin, and he was asking, can you advise on starting a new business? So, Councillor Akin, I don't know if you have anything to say. Actually, I have a short, okay. Pastor Mrs. Ayo, you have your hands up. So maybe I listen to you first, then I will now take the question back to Councillor Akin again. So you can come on now, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks very much. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Brashino, yeah, and the services that he rendered, because I work as a contractor. Well, I used to work as a contractor and on that umbrella company restrictively for years. And because of all those umbrella companies, I got into trouble with HMRC, as in like serious trouble. You know, letters will come into my house, my heart, and one day I just told him and just said I should direct everything to him, and he has been a great help. You know, I'm so grateful, sir. Thank you. It sorted out everything. Has like sorted it out everything. It's not small money, but I'm grateful. Wow. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. So I can testify to that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so Councillor is clapping for Mr. Shino already.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, that is amazing. So thank you so much for saving people. And I've heard of several other things that you've been able to help a lot of people with. I'm also aware of some charity organization that you also help them to recover these gift aid. So a lot of us. Yeah, a lot of people are not aware of these little things, and that is the reason why we have brought this initiative into place to advise migrants, especially those that are new, like this past Councillor Akin. I know all these things are not new to him. They are the lawmakers, so I won't be educating you on what you are putting on us, but the truth is that a lot of people that are just coming in, even some that have been here for long, that doesn't have the opportunity to be part of the lawmakers, doesn't know all of this information. So if you want to know more about Mr. Shino's services, we've dropped it in the chat. And then for those that want to also have a one-to-one session with Councillor Akin and Pastor Mrs. Ayo, we have also gotten your details. So you will share more details with you about what next to do. And I don't know, can we drop your number, sir? Yeah, please. Okay, so we will drop Councillor Akin's number, and Pastor Mrs. Ayo, I don't know if you don't mind, ma, to drop your number too, ma. So me, I'm always open to more conversations. So, but I think the two of you, I want our audience to have your contact, especially those that are on this Zoom, because this is why we are having this.
Yes.
We are not. This is a free session. We've been sitting down. I was able to hold down a whole counselor for almost 3 hours, for 2.5 hours. Now I'm getting to 3 hours. So at no cost. So that implies that it's a big sacrifice that they are doing for our organization, and this is one of the way we can also pay back. So this is more like a community service that we are doing in our own little ways. So you can call our resource persons, and for them to even agree to share their number, this is also a great benefit to us. Thank you so much, sir. So feel free to call them, Councillor Akin's number, and Pastor Mrs. Ayo. They are ready to help. So for the question that was asked, as regards starting a business, we actually had a session that we prepared, which was supposed to be my session actually. That is starting a business, raising innovation funding for your business, and then other ways around. But I will first allow Councillor Akin to do this. But in my own mind, I am already not going to do my own presentation again because I felt we've spent a lot of time already. But because a question was asked around that, I will ask Councillor Akin to see if there is anything he wants to say about it. But after him, and I will just mention where some of us can go to also get more information. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. My take on this is, if we do not help one another, we will not grow as a community. So that's the angle I'm coming from, and that's why I'm willing to share knowledge. And please feel free, anyone who wants to reach out to me, because the way life works is that we should be a blessing to one another. I mean, for some people in my long stay here in the UK have been a huge blessing to me at some point in my life. And I know that we just have to pass it on. We just have to pay this forward. So that is the spirit in which I'm doing this. And I'm grateful to have been part of this seminar today. So in that sense, I'm grateful. So please do reach out to me. Now, to the question your viewer asked. Yeah, there are many areas with which you can start a business, which I can give you advice on. But it just depends on what area. One, maybe we need to have a conversation, and then I'll see where your strengths are and analyze what you can do. Are you a people person? There's so many strengths that come into this. Because sometimes if it's a front-facing business, you need to be aware of the skills you need to bring into it. The problem is a lot of people go into business not realizing the challenges of what they're going to face. I mean, if you're not a people-friendly person, if you're not, and you communicate the wrong body language to customers, it could be quite discouraging for your customers to engage with you. So you need to bring so many things into play when you're starting up a business. But the good thing now is that because we have online businesses, you don't need to necessarily face your customers in most cases. But depending on what you want to do, what are you good at? You need to identify one thing. Okay, but first of all, you need to realize that man's basic needs are 3: feeding, shelter, and clothing. Okay? So you start off from there. And then you start drilling down. What can I do in those 3 areas? Now we have tech to actually help us enable these things. So you look for your own niche area within each one of those 3 criteria that I've brought up. And then you look at where you fit in the most. No, don't do the trap our people get into is what I'm about to say next. Please don't get into the trap of saying everybody's doing this, I want to do this. Everybody's setting up a restaurant, I want to set up a restaurant.
African food.
Everybody's selling African food, I want to set. It's a big, big mistake that people fall into. Because quite frankly, maybe you weren't even called to go into that business, and then you find that you have layers of difficulties because you do not have the right, temperament, the right fit for that business. And that's where people get layered. So you need to be very, very careful, because running a restaurant in the UK has a lot of regulatory frameworks. You have hoops. You have to dance around. The council would ask you, your local council would ask you for a lot of food, food safety, and all these courses you have to, hygiene and all that you have to attend. Environmental health will drill you on a lot of aspects of setting up the shop. So there's a lot involved. So if you're not ready for that, and then there'll be regular inspections, where they will have to vet you and see how you're doing, and every month, you face, and then you can even face unbooked inspections where they'll just turn up willy-nilly, and then they certify you for your hygiene rating. So you need to be very careful. And then you don't want things to overwhelm you, and eventually you now realize you're not cut out for that business. So that's why I'm saying you need to actually look properly before you leap. And sometimes some of these businesses might not even, especially when it comes to actually renting premises as well. That's a huge cost that you don't want to get involved in the UK. So if you can actually do a business and do it or grow it organically as a startup, from when you're not even spending much on the premises, to let it grow big, and then you now start using those funds to now develop the business. Instead of front-facing it with loans and all that, again, it's an uphill task from there. So she can get in touch with me, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, that's good. We would be calling it a day now, and my new addition to it is I would like to say that if you want to do a business in the UK, just identify a problem. It's either a problem you are experiencing yourself, or a problem around you. If you start from a problem-centric perspective, then you are going to get it done. Some of these problems could be within your own company, like you are in a health sector and there is a complaint, you are complaining to your company every time that they are not doing this. That's a business for you in disguise. So you can look around that. So we at FinREMIT, we have a session also that we conduct to put people through innovations and the likes, business ideation, conceptualization. So you can find time to follow us, or you contact us on our pages. However, we won't end this session without calling to us that the UK 2025-26 budget is supporting a lot of innovation.
Yeah.
They are now driving money into energy sector, renewable energy, and lots more. So I would want us to please go to Innovation Funding Services on gov.uk. So go to gov.uk, then search for Innovation Funding Services. And then at that page, you will see a lot of grants that you can apply for. If you need help on how to write grant and the likes, keep following these pages. We will be having sessions like that. So at this time, I would like to say a big thank you to every one of you for standing for this long. And I want to say that we appreciate your presence. Your interaction makes it interesting. But I want to say most importantly to our resource persons, Mr. Shina Amujo, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Pastor Mrs. Ayo Alabi, thank you so much for your time and your contribution. Councillor Akin, I'm so much proud of you always. We are proud of you as one of the Black representatives in Stevenage, and we are proud of the job you are doing, sir. We will keep engaging you, because I can see a lot of messages that I can't read now coming on other platforms. So we'll be engaging more with you, sir. And I know you won't be tired of us.
No.
Always. So on this note, I want to say thank you, everybody, and do have an amazing weekend. We appreciate your time. Time is money in the UK, and you all stood with us all through this 1 hour, 2 hours, 43 minutes. It is impressive, and we say thank you. Do have a productive week ahead. Thank you. Okay.
That's it.